My name is Neely. I like to proofread, I like to content write, I enjoy English, it is my hobby, it is my passion. Now, wasn't that the most monotonous introduction you've ever heard in a video? And let me tell you why you maybe thought it was monotonous. First of all 6 of my sentences used exactly the same sentence structure, and all 6 of my sentences contained 5 syllables. I also had very little variation when it came to my word choices. Imagine reading those 6 sentences as a script. How would that make you feel, other than completely bored out of your minds? Today we're going to discuss the importance of rhythm in writing, and in my experience so far, what I have found is that people, business people in particular, tend to ignore the importance of rhythm in writing. And this is most probably because they feel that it is most essential for poets, musicians, dancers maybe. But let me ask you all one question. How many of you listen to music whilst you're working? Because I myself do this a lot, and what I find is that music helps create a certain kind of mood for me. And this is generally because our brains synchronize to the tempo of a certain beat. Well, the point I'm trying to make is that writing contains music as well. Writing can stutter and stumble. Writing can flow smoothly like a river, or it can contain lots of sharp turns. Writing can make us smile, or it can make us feel very emotional. And rhythm, what actually creates this effect, this intensity, this feeling in our writing, is unfortunately one of the most underrated aspects of it all. So let's think about website content. Think about the About section of any kind of a business website content. Now, most companies in their About section like to tell some kind of a story, or this is where they really like to try and connect with their audience. Now, text, particularly anecdotal text, and by that I mean storytelling, is most engaging when some kind of a rhythm has been implemented. And this can be translated in many different ways. So first of all, let's think about your sentence formations. Remember that long sentences sound smooth, whereas short sentences create more of an impression of being snappy, of being quite quick and to the point. So consider the kind of tone and voice that you're after, and then use a mixture of both depending on that. Do not be afraid to begin your sentences with words such as and but. This particular rule regarding conjunctions, as we like to call them, it has its own place, but it's a little bit dated and it's not to be taken too seriously unless you're writing for academic purposes. If you're looking for a more personable and conversational approach, which you might be doing in your blogs, for example, then I would recommend using the more non-conventional, the more quirky methods in your writing, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to capture some of your personality in your content. Another point, guys, is do not fall into the trap of using too many synonyms. Effective writing does not always mean using lots and lots of complicated words. Your readers are far more likely to remain engaged if you use more conventional words, words that they are able to understand. Simplicity really is the most beautiful thing, and remember that it's not just the words you're using, it's what you're doing with them. Another point, my final point actually, is read your work out loud. And I am sure you have been told this many, many times, especially back at school, but remember the importance of why you need to read your work out loud. So try and remember what it actually is that you're listening for, and that is the peaks and the stresses in your writing. If you're unable to hear that in your text, and you begin to feel that you sound more like a robot, then that might be the time to revisit your text and maybe redraft elements of it. So this subject is obviously quite broad, and as far as writing is concerned, practice really does make perfect. But if you're after specific advice, then please feel free to send me a message. Check us out on Facebook, Neely there, where we like to offer really useful tips with regards to your English writing skills, and often we like to throw in a couple of really bad jokes as well. Thank you for listening.